We want to start off with a reminder that we are not doctors. Before you make any changes or try something new, always consult with your doctor and medical team first. Chronic illness can vary from patient to patient, so it's always best to consult with your own doctor for what is best for you.
Welcome back to IBD Determined. I'm your host, Mason Harvey. I speak from the role of a patient, and I have Crohn's disease.
And I'm your other host, Michelle Harvey. I'm Mason's mom, and I speak in the role of a caregiver. Today, we're kind of having a hard time figuring out what we wanted to talk about. And I think one of the things that we wanted to kind of bring back into this, we just talked about how we published a book, and it's behind us now. See, literally behind us and behind us.
It's up there, guys. Yay.
Yeah. And so we kind of went over, the process of it and everything like that. But I think one of the things that we've gotten the most feedback about is kind of like the people who've read it enjoying the fact that it teaches you to focus on the silver linings. And so it's always interesting, right? Because we wrote it with our own perspective, and there's multiple lessons we put into this book. And
multiple things you can take out of it, multiple things you can learn.
There is. And it's kind of cool to finally start getting some feedback and hearing what stood out. And so that's pretty exciting to me if it's the silver linings, if that's one of the things that stood out. Part of this, it's what we've been doing this week is like we went to the blood bank and we delivered. It was
very cool.
Went to 2 blood banks and we delivered 2 copies. So each got a copy of the book, and then we got to speak to donors.
And that was very fun.
It's always really cool.
2 people cry.
Yeah.
For a good reason. No.
I know. Made people cry.
Happy tears, guys.
And the cool thing is we were there long enough because we, donors come in, they get screened before they donate blood. And so what would happen is we would go to the people ordering the chairs, donating, talk to them. And, you get into some meaningful conversations, and then as they're leaving and they go to sit down for their 15 minutes afterwards, you talk a little bit. And then the people that had been signing in are now going into the chairs.
Yeah. And so like when you're like, okay, we're almost done.
We're done. We're going to be leaving now.
Like a new batch of people come in. And then when you're done talking to those people,
we're like,
more people come in.
And
you're like,
to them and thank them. And so
so basically you could just continue to see people on repeat for the entire day.
And it's really cool. It's a really cool experience. And so what we got to see is, because we dropped off the books, when we would go back into the area where they're eating their snacks, when they're done, they'd be looking at the book. That was pretty cool. That was kind of an exciting thing. And then Mason, also you are done officially with Invisalign.
Oh yeah.
And so
it's cool, but we got the retainers, so that's fun.
Yeah. I think you're going to miss your team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dr. Gardner, and
we're going to go back to the orthodontist to
visit anytime. Yeah, bring cookies. They love that. So we bring bribes for friendship.
You better do good, because if you don't, you're not getting the cookies that we brought.
But Dr. Gardner was one of the recipients of the book as well. And so that was another cool place where the people who worked there, they got to read it too, and were giving Mason, like feedback and like, that's an amazing book. And so it's been pretty cool. It's been exciting. I think the biggest gift when you publish is not the paychecks, because these don't make money.
Nope.
I mean, technically, but it's like
one bookseller.
Yeah, making like 30 cents on Amazon when you sell a book is not going to get you rich.
You sold 50 books today. Your profit is $3. Whoa.
Yeah, so it's not like, so the value in us, the value to us is seeing
the
people
and how it makes them feel and react, and helping people learn and know that they're not alone, and trying to comfort people. Comfort food. Hey, there we go. It's comfort food.
And right. So there's another book. So
that's your average comfort food.
And one of the cool things is, one of the recipients of the book was Rolf Benerschka, his assistant Patty, and then the executive director for their Legacy Foundation, who is Rick, and also happens to be Mason's golf coach. Yeah. And so they all received a copy because they're also all in the book. And so just talking to Rolf again reminded us of the funny story that Mason has about him with one of the first times Mason spoke publicly when he was 12. Listening before Mason went up on stage, listening to Rolf was like, and what Rolf was saying, I think was pretty, at the time, unbelievable too.
So it was still in the time where I was trying to find a biologic that would work.
You're still on prednisone?
I was still on, prednisone.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling great. Not in a great position. Finally found some good biologics later on.
Yeah.
But
he even really quick, he even had to run to the bathroom before he was supposed to come on stage.
Which actually,
and it silver linings, right?
Silver lining. I had to run to the bathroom, so it took extra time, and so during that time, had to go to the bathroom, so it took some extra time, and they raffled off
It was the auctioneer pulled out a $20 bill.
Yeah, just a $20 bill out of his pocket. He wasn't even prepared for it. He just pulled it out. He was like, "All right, we're gonna auction off this $20 bill." Yeah. And it ended up making...
It was like $800?
I thought it was like either 500 or 800.
Yes, those two both sound right to me too. And it was like, so we're staying there. And so, again, things happen.
Guys.
Yeah, but something good came out of it, right? And so instead of Mason focusing on the fact like, oh my gosh, I was late to stage because of this freaking disease. And it's like, oh, cool. You mean money? Well,
money. And on the bright side, someone got to go home with the $800 $20 bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fair trade.
Right.
But we were saying the audience, and Rolf was saying that he wouldn't change his diagnosis. It wasn't easy at the start, but as time went on, it was more of a gift. Now, this isn't exact wording, so
right.
You have to go to the gala to hear his exact wording. You guys have to do that. But he was saying that I was saying the audience, and I'm not feeling great this time, and I'm going, how could you possibly say this disease is a gift? I'm going, this man's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then, 2 years pass, find good biologics, and make all these good connections. Rick, Rolf, Patty, and so many other people. And it's like, this disease is a gift. It's like putting money into the bank. At first, it doesn't seem like it's benefiting you. Just kind of there.
Yeah.
But then over time, you start getting money back from the bank, and you're like, oh, that's nice. And that's kind of like Crohn's disease, in my case. Where at first, it's like, why would anyone want to have this? To... okay, well, I'm in a position where I'm feeling great because I'm on the biologics. I wouldn't want to change the diagnosis because if it wasn't for its diagnosis, I wouldn't have met all these people. I wouldn't have been able to speak at these events. I wouldn't be able to go to these bioscience companies. I wouldn't be able to go golfing, with Rick. And so there's so many silver linings. I mean, I could choose to be, oh man, this disease is awful. I mean, I feel fine right now, but I have to take biologics and it's ridiculous. No, I could, look at the silver lining and be thankful for what you got to do and who you got to meet.
Yeah, those friendships and support, it means a lot. And I think it's real easy to focus on what a disease takes from you because it does take. And it's like, if you spend time just living that part of your life, focusing on what it took away and just constantly being angry, you're not going to grow and you're not going to heal. And so part of this is learning to heal and understanding, how you can do that. And so I think like if you read our first book, which was Not Your Average Slice of Pizza, and that starts from the point, I think, where Mason started realizing the different ways you could kind of take control of the disease because you can't, no matter what, even when people ask you, would you change the diagnosis? You can't. Like, it's not like Mason can say, I wish I could. And it's gone. So that, you have this. And there's a lack of control and feeling like in everything you're being told to do all this stuff all of a sudden. And so you find other ways. And so the first book was kind of about that diagnosis, Mason's fears, learning to accept the diagnosis. And in doing that, you are, you're growing in a way where you're starting to say, hey, I can't fix this, but I can fix this and I can do this in life. So that's like what the first book was really about. Our second book is now coming from a new place because since Mason wrote and illustrated that book, his life has changed.
My life has changed
again.
And I'm not feeling like I was in the first book. I'm feeling much better. Feeling improved. And so it's time to look at something else and not necessarily just the fears because in the first book we learned to overcome those. And so it's time to focus on something else other than just being sad you have a disease.
Right. And so now it's coming from a place of mental health and growth from the support in really finding joy in life after a difficult diagnosis. And it's for people listening, you're going to be in all different stages, and you might be like where Mason was when he heard Rolf speak, and you're going silver linings. Like,
yeah, you're watching me speak right now, and I don't blame you. But you're sitting there watching us, and you're going, these people are ridiculous.
And
yeah, I mean, if you haven't found the biologic and you're not feeling great right now, I can completely understand where you're coming from, because I was there too. And I hope that you will feel better and you're going to improve like me. You're going to be able to enjoy things again. You're going to have to still do treatments or whatever you do to help your disease. But I hope you'll be able to finally be able to look back and realize the things you've been able to do if you've been able to get anything out of the disease. New friendships, new understandings, helping research. Because in helping research, you're not just helping yourself, but you're helping to find a future for the people that were like you where they were lost.
Right.
You're finding a future for those people so they won't feel like you did, where you were really sad about it and
which
lost.
is important to help others. That's a huge part of this. And for us, I mean, looking back, 'cause it's been 6 years since he was diagnosed, we can look back 6 years and go, man, he's been at the hospital every 2 weeks. We've had to drive to Rady Children's Hospital, and I mean, for some people listening, they're like, oh, okay, well, that sounds difficult. But I don't think until you understand, like, every 2 weeks going to a hospital and doing these treatments for him, what that has been like. And as far as caregiving as well. So you could look back and but I think what is interesting is when we look back, we're not seeing that really necessarily that visual. We're seeing all the other things that we've done. And so instead of choosing to focus on, this is unfair, like he's had to do this while other kids got to do this, we have a bunch of other life adventures that we see. And so, yeah, it's part of it.
The other way I look at it is obviously driving 2 hours to go to the hospital to get an infusion that lasts an hour and a half, if not longer. That's not fun. And doing that and then getting an injection too and going every 2 weeks, that isn't fun. But I'm looking at it and, back in the day when there weren't treatments and there weren't cars, people would, they'd just
very
get
different
worse,
outcome,
or something would happen, And so the thing I'm looking at is, sure, it's not fun. It's unfair that I have to do all of this for a disease that I never asked for. I have to treat it differently. But
it's true, though. It's true.
The thing that I have to look at is there's nothing that is as priceless as the gift of life. And these biologics are giving me my life back. And so when they're doing something that's so amazing like that, which they didn't have 20 years ago, there's so much to be thankful. So much you can be thankful that they found these biologics. 20 years ago, I wouldn't have had a treatment because these Entyvio and Stelara, they didn't really exist. They would probably have been in the research phase,
right?
But they weren't treating people with it,
especially pediatrics.
And so we're to the point where it's working in pediatric care. And it's being used in adults. You can now use dual biologics. And before it was like there's only one, so it's Remicade. You can't dual if you wanted to.
Right.
And so, sure, it's not fun. It's not annoying. But when it's giving you your life back, you can still be thankful.
And that's a huge silver lining. And that is a huge, because being thankful for what you could, like what you have, instead of like, man, it could have been like this. And so it's amazing to see and where it'll be in 10 more years, what it's going to look like. And so there's a lot of hope in that. But just, like, and I think what's important is you're going to go through a grieving process. When you're diagnosed, when he was
natural.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, and that's okay. It's like, you don't have to be like, oh, well, other people are doing so well and why can't I? And it's like, don't compare yourself, because you're going to go through your own process. For us, we used to go on big road trips. And so when we went, we didn't realize in 2019 that would be our last big road trip. We were already planning like, okay, next year we're going to go here and go to these national parks. And so that was a big part of one of our joys as a family. I mean, we had many, things were good. And then when you get diagnosed, all of a sudden it's like there's this frustration and pause because it's like
the road trips and everything that you
it
used to
ends.
do, it's gone.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, well, what is my life as a parent going to be like now parenting Mason? How can I continue to bring him that joy and let him experience a childhood and still have fun? There's all these concerns as a parent you have. And then for Mason, he has a whole nother set. So you kind of have to go through that process of really, and it's okay to be upset and be frustrated or be angry that the life you thought you had is no longer that life. I think what's also hard is, and this is important, I think, you're seeing others living their lives. Yeah. Their lives haven't changed. And so the same people you knew before you got sick are still doing the same things. But you are not. And so you feel like all of a sudden these friendships change, these connections change. And so there's a lot at first where you're like, kind of like, oh, wow, yeah, you get to go on a cruise. Oh, you're going, kayaking on a lake in Idaho. And, but you see people doing all these things and living their lives. And I think it's really important to remember to be happy for them. Mm-hmm. And to not be bitter and to
just make you feel worse.
Yeah, not feel like that isn't fair, because it's not fair. And so it just is. It just isn't. But there's really nothing about life that is fair if you think about it. There's always something. And so you need to choose to be happy for others and that they are being able to enjoy these things. And that doesn't take away, their lives are their lives. That comparison is so important to just, like, hey, that's cool. You guys get to go do this. We can't do that yet, but maybe we'll be able to, or
someday, yeah. Someday in the future.
And so if you like, one of the things, the notes here, if you focus on what you're missing out on, it can cause you to miss out on what is actually happening in your life. And if you're so focused on that, you're going to miss those silver linings. So that's where it's important.
Don't dwell too deeply.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where our book, I think, really is impactful, because it makes you step back and say, really look at each, like in the book, it's the food pyramid, it's the different friendships in each level of the pyramid. But it's important to sometimes sit back and really think about all the good things, all the good people, all the good events, and not build a pyramid of sadness or frustrations.
Don't build a
right? Like,
don't
ignore that pyramid.
Yes.
Go to the other one.
Yeah, I will say, with what I was saying earlier about find the silver lining.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, it might sound like to you, like, has he ever experienced the really dark parts of a disease and really grieved? Mm-hmm. And I have. And there was one time where we were in the hospital still. It was in the 2 months hospital stay. New to the diagnosis, trying to find treatments, not doing great. She opened her phone. She wanted me to show me something. Mm-hmm. She wanted to make me feel comforted. And she showed me, it was on the Crohn's.
It was on one of the pediatric Crohn's sites. It was one of the kids who had been diagnosed.
And so it was this kid with Crohn's disease, and he was doing great. He was dancing. He was doing some really good dance moves. He was doing great.
Right.
And I was watching it, and it made me really sad, and I actually started crying. Yeah. And because I just felt like this person can do this, but I don't see how I could ever feel like that. And so I came from a place where I was watching this kid dance with Crohn's, and I thought I could never be able to do that, because I was so sick at that time. We couldn't find the biologic that would work, and we were trying to figure out stuff, trying to do all these scans and stuff, and it was not fun at all. And so it just felt like I would never get to experience with the freedom that kid would experience with this disease. But I was so wrong in thinking that.
And that was a big, like, even lesson to me to give to other parents, like, be careful showing your kids what you think will inspire them at certain points. And because realistically, you should have been like, oh my gosh, that's amazing for him. But when you're in so much pain and you're so deep in that
it
dark,
feels like
diagnosis,
it feels impossible
right,
that you can ever get out of that
right,
ditch. And so why I'm saying this is because what I was saying to someone who's in that ditch, it sounds like, oh well, I'm just a lucky person who got to get out of it.
hmm
It took a long time to get out of it, but it was worth it. And you are going to get out of it too. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen over a month, but you will be that person that was hopefully dancing in that video.
yeah,
And there's different ways that you're going to do it. You're not going to be on the same biologics. You're not going to be on the same
right,
treatments. You're going to, you might be on steroids. You might be getting a surgery.
hmm
But at the end of the day, there's going to be something to help treat your disease. And we're coming from a time where Remicade was the only treatment and it only worked on certain people.
like 50%.
50%.
Yeah.
Currently, with all the biologics we have, which is why I said hopefully, with all the biologics we have, there are some people with Crohn's that still can't be treated with. But we are headed into a time where there are so many
Mhm.
research, so much research going on, so many biologic
Yep.
companies, and one biologic company we know, they're creating 3 things. It's not just, all right, we're focusing on one. There's so many potential. There's so much potential that is going to come out with this next generation of Crohn's, and so you have that to look forward to, and
Yep.
you're gonna get out of that ditch.
Yeah, and I think it's important what Mason's saying too, because if you're watching this right now, you might be feeling how he felt when he watched that other video where you're like, it's so easy for you to say because you feel good. But it's important to listen to what he said, where he didn't always feel that way.
No,
And there will be ups and downs. And so it's
there will be.
important to, I guess, strengthen your mind and your mental health to a place where when you start to come down again, when something happens, you're more equipped to fight and to be hopeful and to understand like this will pass and we'll get through this. You just kind of have to make the most out of the time you have. I think that's another big lesson. Like when you're feeling good, make the most out of your life and don't keep like waiting for a cure or waiting for things to where you can be happy again. It's like you have to start to find how to be happy now.
You can be your own light at the end of the tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And the light of the tunnel is the end of Crohn's disease. You're never reaching it.
Yeah.
Make the light of the end have multiple tunnels. That's what I should say. Have
Yeah.
multiple tunnels, and the light at the end of every tunnel is a goal that you've created. And when you reach that goal, you see the light at the end of that tunnel, and then you go into another one, and you can keep finding that light at the end of the tunnel. And just don't dwell on the endless tunnel called Crohn's disease. Because
Right.
that's just not going to get you happy. That's not going to get you anywhere. And it is hard to not focus on that. Because I was once there. And
Well, because you're just like
biologics for the rest of your life.
yeah, and so and the cure may come.
Yeah, a cure may come.
It might, but in the meantime,
Just set your own goals.
yes.
And when you accomplish that goal, you will feel proud, and you'll be like, "Hey, I was able to do that," and that will inspire and encourage you to do so much more.
And I think because like that's kind of one of the lessons Rolf taught us. So finding out like how to look at things, and we have it as we call it one wave at a time,
Yep.
which we've talked about. He was one day at a time. He's the one who first encouraged me to stop. I realized we're looking at like Mason saying this huge picture, and it feels so overwhelming. And you're like, how do I get there? And you're struggling. And so instead it's like to break it down and like for that day, like what can I accomplish today? What can I do to get to the next step? And so sometimes you just have to slow it down. Like you said, set your own little goals, set your own light, focus on what have I accomplished? Let's look back. And so that's important to see like all the little lights you've reached along the way instead of saying, I've missed it. I haven't reached it yet. And,
you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, it's a really important. And, things can be, your joys can be don't compare yourself. Do your own thing. It can be something simple. It could be reading a book. It could be doing a puzzle. You may not be able to go out like others. May not be able to eat the same things. So there's a lot of things that your life might be different. So it's important to just find just enjoy the small things, and that's okay. Like, focus on, what you have and what brings you joy. I just think that with our book, my hope is that we can help kids, but also help adults. I know it's written for children, but
anyone can enjoy it.
yeah, I think the lesson in it is one that anybody can learn from. And so one of the things we've talked about even is coming out with a journal that is kind of based on the book, so you guys can, I'm hoping maybe it can be used in therapy.
Your own story.
But yeah, you create your own pyramid and your own, really sit back. It's a way to really look at all the good things in your life. It doesn't have to be a person you met, like it can be something that happened, an event. It can be, multiple things. And so you can sit back and really look at this tower, this pyramid of strength and support, and keep adding to it. That's the thing. It's like you may fill up the pyramid and then refill it up again, keep going. So we're kind of working on something like that because this is really important to us. Just knowing that there's people out there right now that may have felt how Mason did, reaching those people is really important, I think. And there's some of you out there who aren't going to take, like he said, you're not going to be taking the biologics. That's not your path. You might be doing something different, but also, I think if you are listening to this and you have been struggling for years and you have, like, there are potentials that you haven't tried biologics, or maybe there's a lot of fears you have. Maybe you feel like your doctor is not listening. I think it's important to see about getting a second opinion and really figuring out how to give yourself the health you deserve, and don't just settle either. There are, there's going to be frustrations. It's going to be difficult to treat, but I do encourage you guys, if you're still feeling this way and it's been a very long time, whether it be your physical health or the mental health aspect of it, to reach out and get help, because it can get better. And don't just settle.
And there is a good balance between physical and mental health. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to do the best thing for my mental health, which is not going to the hospital. I'm not doing this.
I don't want an infusion.
But then your physical health tanks, which affects your mental health.
Yep.
But in doing what is both the best choice for your mental and physical health, not only it's going to improve your mental health. And so by balancing both of those, you're going to naturally improve.
Because you are going to have, like we were saying, those difficult days. If you are not healthy enough mentally, if you haven't been strong enough in that area, it's going to be really difficult. So the stronger you can get that mental health and work on that with your physical health, the more equipped you're going to be to handle those bad days. Because we all know that's going to happen. Whether you have Crohn's disease, like, it's not just Crohn's disease. It does certainly complicate it. Everybody's going to have a bad day. Something difficult is going to happen. And so it's very important to continue that work. And like he said, balance that physical with that mental health, and you can just be in the best position you can be in. And make sure you are, some people may surround themselves, they need a lot of support. Some people don't need as much. Some people are a little more private about things, and they, so your support looks like what is best for you too. It's not just us telling you what worked for Reggie in the book, or what,
it's not a piece of cheese pizza. I mean,
right.
You are.
Right.
But, so we're
not
all the same.
No. And it may not be, some people might not feel the same, or get out there and speak on a stage and be, some people's pyramids are going to look different. So it is important to also, like, just find your own support, what that looks like for you. And like I said, support can look like even having a pet, or like we have our jumping spiders, we have a dog, but these different things bring joy in that aspect. Or like even using, a comforting blanket when you're at an infusion. So finding ways to support yourself and keep yourself feeling the best you can is important. It can look like many different versions of things.
I want to talk about the one wave at a time thing.
Oh, yeah.
So when I was in the hospital, I will say I left happier than when I came in. Obviously. Obviously that is. But I mean, the day before I left was a much happier day than the day when I came in. And so what I noticed that I was doing is when I first came in, I was looking at this huge long tunnel, this huge long ocean with tons of waves. Every day, I would ask the nurse, when are we leaving?
I remember.
For about like 2 weeks, I asked, when are we leaving? And they're like, so I started improving when I started doing drawings and instead of dwelling on, this disease and building Legos and doing these drawings. And instead of asking how long, when will we leave? Instead of asking, how long have we been here? And then on like, oh, we've been here for 2 weeks now. It's a 2-week anniversary. And then we'd do a little celebration. And instead of focusing on when are we leaving, because you start to recognize the nurses, you start to recognize some of the doctors, and instead of focusing on when you're leaving, just be like, oh, we've been here for 2 weeks. Congrats.
And also, I think feeling a little better or feeling like you're trying different things helped.
Yes.
Focusing on that aspect of it, because
instead of thinking nothing is working.
Right. Because if you were like when we were first there, it was frustrating. It's like, well, when are we going home? Like, what is going on? And so you're feeling like you're just focused on, let's just get home. But then all of a sudden, I think your focus shifted to let's get better.
Yeah.
And it's like, instead of counting down to like, when do I leave? It's like, when do I feel better? When does that happen? And so your thought process kind of shifted. And I think that was really helpful to you to say, all right, I mean, it's not like you enjoyed it and you still wanted to go home.
Yeah.
That was never, but
yeah, obviously you still want to go home.
Right.
But you weren't in a position where it was like, the only thing I want is to go home.
Right. Like, just give me whatever and send me home.
The goal was, let's make me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can work on going home. But first, we need to improve.
Right. Because if they had sent you home feeling as sick as you did, because he was on, he got a lot worse in the hospital. And that was hard, I think, because all of a sudden you're like, why am I here? And I'm so sick. But it was part of the process, the different things he had to do. And so then I think there is that turning point where you start to see, okay, I probably don't want to be home doing this. I think this is a safe place. I'm in a good place and they can give me the help I need. But sure, cannot wait to go home.
Yeah.
Like that is and so
I sure can't wait to go home feeling better.
Right. Not feeling like you were. And so it's not like they dismissed him and just sent him home, really not with questions unanswered. So when the time did come, he was still not feeling great, but there was a path, there was a treatment, there was doctors, there was a whole team that support again, that support for him. Right. Everything.
Doctor.
And so that was a big part of that. But yeah, that's really good to point out, because some people, when you get hospitalized,
you're just wondering, when am I getting,
just like when, and so it's like the important thing is to know that they're helping you, so when you do go home, you will be better, feel better, or have a plan in place. I know not all hospitals are the same, and so it is very difficult to be patient through that, but yeah, that's a really good thing to point out.
And maybe even, it depends on how crazy you get when you're there, have like little checkpoints. Maybe if you've been there for like a week, every week you're there, have a little, I don't know, buy something like a Hot Wheels or buy something like a Lego, or
like a reward
have
system.
A celebration day, where the nurses, because if you're at a pediatric hospital, the nurses might indulge more in celebrating. I don't know how that would work at a hospital.
I'm not sure what that looks like yet. I don't think it's quite the same. But
when you're there for 1 month, you can have a really big celebration, right? So
yeah. I mean, it's a reward system, I think, and I think that is important to have something, to have those goals, and when you reach it, to celebrate it, even if it's not a goal that you would normally, like, nobody's ever, like, in real life who's not in a hospital is going to be like, I want to go to a hospital and celebrate being there for a week. But like,
or something else you could do is, like, every week you're there, have a little journal thing,
and
write about how you feel. How is it different since when you came in, and how is it different from the week previous?
Yeah, and actually, so like what your dad would do, because most of you guys have heard our story where it was during COVID, and so Mason couldn't have 2 parents with him, which was part of the really difficult situation, I think.
Yeah.
And so his dad and I would spend a lot of time not together, because when we were with Mason, we weren't all together as a family. And so what his dad did was his dad would write down everything. And so it helped him to organize his thoughts and write down like what the doctors may have said that day, what happened during that day. So that helped him a lot too. So as a caregiver, like what Mason's saying, these are also helpful to maybe journal and write down things, because parents are also going through it in a different way. You need to be in the best shape you can be mentally to help support your child. If you're falling apart, you're not going to be able to help your child. And it's very important to and be genuine in it. It's like not put on a front and because a kid is going to be able to tell when a parent is pretending and putting on a brave face. And so it's more important to actually be brave and to actually be as strong as you can and be healthy so you can really help your child. And so anyway, so journaling that's what Jason did. I mostly would sleep on a bench pretending to look like I was awake because I was so exhausted because I had the night shifts with Mason and he was up so much. And so I would leave the hospital room at 6:30 in the morning so his dad could come in and get cleaned up because he would sleep in our car. And so I would switch so he could come in and he'd be with Mason, he'd meet with the doctors in the morning, and then I would be so tired. And I wish I did journal probably a little bit more. I don't really think I knew what to do with myself.
Well, it's understandable when you're in that position, you don't really know what to do.
I was exhausted.
That's why we're giving you tips.
Right.
To
And
help guide you.
That's why it's important because we've been there and we have had those moments, and there's things I wish someone had talked to me about or told me, and so we're hoping to kind of be those people for you guys.
Exactly.
And so you can always reach out to us too. You can leave a comment, you can message us, email us. Our emails on our YouTube page too for contacts. I might be on the podcast pages as well, but you're always welcome to contact us if you need any support or need anything. I think it's a really important topic. It's kind of like looking at the silver linings, looking at the good things in your life, really trying to, it's not to say that there's going to be difficult times, but to really focus on the good times too and all the things. Like we've had so many happy events. I'm really thankful for that, but we also made that happen. Sitting in our house and being sad didn't make those good events happen.
You gotta, sometimes step outside of your comfort zone sometimes.
Really important.
But it'll be worth it.
Right. Really important. And that could even just look for some of you maybe who haven't felt like going outside. And if you are able to, taking a walk. If you're not, maybe just finding a place to sit in the sun, to sit, just to sit outside, just a change of scenery. Sometimes that helps too. So anyways, we hope you guys might have found some help or value in this and
feel better.
Yeah. And if you guys want to continue to see some of our adventures and maybe not feel so alone and see what we're doing too, because we're part of your support team as well. Just so if you're listening, put us in the pyramid. We're on one of those levels. So
Pomegranate knew some really good podcasts.
Right. So hopefully, we can be part of your support pyramid as well. And you guys are welcome to follow us. We're on social media, so you guys can be a part of our family and see what we're doing at Team IB Determined. That's where we post pretty much everything going on in our lives. And you can also follow us on the Reggie Project and Instagram as well. That's something else we're working on. We're still working on our Carmentude clips. And so that'll be, hopefully be able to make more of an announcement about that pretty soon. And you guys can keep listening to us on podcast stations like Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and
there's links to more if you want to listen to more podcast stations. But there's also YouTube. There's also YouTube podcasts. And if you're on YouTube watching us, YouTube podcasts are also not so new anymore. But if you're on YouTube watching us, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. And if you want to be notified every time we post a new video, make sure to hit the bell icon.
Yep.
And make sure to leave us some comments and make sure they're nice. We're your support team. And support us and we'll support you.
Yes.
Just ask questions. Did we miss something in this podcast? Is there anything you want us to talk about? Was there anything that you related with? Felt comforted by?
Because your comments may help somebody else too. And so that's important to remember. Sharing something may help another person as well, because all of our stories are different and we're going to find different things that comfort us. And so, so please feel free to share. And and then we'll be back here in 2 weeks again. We're here every 2 weeks with another podcast. And
if you are on YouTube, you're probably really confused because you're like, who's grabbing his hand? That's my hand. It looks really weird.
Did you realize that?
I was just grabbing my hand. It looks really weird.
That is strange.
Like my hand. So that's my hand, guys. That's my hand. That was very uncomfortable It was like, oh, it doesn't look right.
Yeah. So yeah, this is why we record too, guys, because really exciting things happen in.
Yeah. So basically, if you see this part in the video, just comment hand in the comments.
Yeah.
And everybody
That's
will
a
be
pretty cool
like,
trick, though.
yeah,
Looks like it's creeping up on
like,
you.
whoa, who is it? Whoa, who is it? Somebody's hand. Oh, it's mine.
Really exciting stuff,
Yeah,
guys.
it's
Riveting
exciting.
material here.
Pretty magical. This is sad. It's like the most action-packed part of that.
I know.
Anyways,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Well, now you have something to look forward to. And so hopefully we'll see you guys back here again in 2 weeks on the next episode. All right, everyone. Have a good day, good evening, good night, and make it a good
rest. Yeah. Have tiny tunnels and focus on one wave at a time.
True. Very true. All right, guys. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you will stick around, tune in, and reach out to us with your own journeys. We are excited to give you an inside view of what it takes to be a caregiver and what it's like to be a patient.
And most of all, we hope you'll maybe be able to apply something you hear on here that might help you in your own life. Sometimes life changes, and it's all about how you handle the journey.